This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel biting, bagel bitch boy, bagel bitch back.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time
MMA.
Holy flying, flipping flapjacks. It's time, full-time family. UFC 229 is upon us. It is less than 10 days away. October 6th. Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Conor McGregor's return to MMA. 2 years away. To claim the belt that he never lost. From the undefeated, undisputed lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. The Dagestan bear wrestling, grappling, aka lightweight stud Khabib Nurmagomedov. What a fucking challenge. Oh my god, you guys don't even understand how much thought and effort went into that main event. Like, I broke down the whole, Fight Pass prelims, the Fox Sports prelims. Of course, those are over at the Full-Time MMA Dojo. You can check those out. Patreon.com/FullTimeMMA. You can check them out for free. You don't have to pay over there, by the way, if you're new. Links are in the description, but broke down the whole fight card, and then I came to the main event. I promise you, I took 30 minutes just staring at the screen, just thinking about this fight before I even took one note about the breakdown. I just was like, who wins? Who wins? It came to a point, I'm the hardcore MMA fan, I had to look at my girl and say, babe, who wins this fight? Because I really don't fucking know. So hard to break it down, you guys. So we're gonna break down McGregor versus Khabib. We're gonna do that at the end of the video. Of course, we gotta break down the rest of the card first. And the UFC 229 pay-per-view kicks off with Michelle Waterson and Felice Herrig, where my motherfucking Sam sat. Holy smokes, no pun intended. Michelle Waterson, the number 8th ranked female strawweight in the world, taking on Felice Herrig, the number 9th ranked female strawweight in the world. Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie's coming off of a hard-fought split decision win over Courtney Casey. Some people felt like Courtney Casey won the fight, but I think it was a fair decision. The win over Casey actually snapped a 2-fight losing streak for the karate hotties, Tisha Torres and Rose Namajunas, the current champion. Felice Herrig is 2-1 in her last 3 fights. She's only lost a split decision to Karolina Kowalkiewicz, and she's got wins over Courtney Casey and Justine Kish. I'm picking Felice Herrig to get the win in this fight. I think it'll be a great scrap, but I think Felice Herrig has fought and beat higher level competition in the UFC, and her only losses in the UFC are a split decision to Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who's one of the best strikers in the strawweight division, and her second fight in the UFC against Paige VanZant, and she was not 100% going into that fight. I think it's easy to tell that just by the way the result went. Paige VanZant dominated her, I believe. I don't think that would happen today, and I don't think that would happen if Felice Herrig was at 100%. But that's one of her losses early in her career. But I'm picking Felice to actually come out here and get the W over Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie. But next we've got a heavyweight bout, and it's going to be between Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, swiggity swanging, biggity banging, like I'm turning left, I'm biggity busting a ride. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis, H-Town, heavyweight, coming off of a win over Francis Ngannou, but he's taking on Alexander Volkov. Alexander Volkov is a young beast, future title challenger, if I will. Alexander Volkov has a lot of potential. Alexander Volkov is the younger, more experienced fighter who's undefeated in the UFC and coming off of a 4th round KO TKO win over the former heavyweight champion Fabricio Verdun. Derek Lewis is 8-1 in his last 9 fights. And those all in the UFC. This guy's got fucking 14 fights in the UFC. In his last 9 fights, he's 8-1, and his only loss comes to Mark Hunt. But he's been down in a few of those fights and finds a way to come back and get the finish late in the fight. If it went to a decision, maybe he would have lost, but he's got the clutch gene, kind of like Brian Ortega. He finds a way to get the job done, finds the finish, and wins the fight. That's Derek Lewis. That's why you can never count him out, and that's why he's got such a great record. Lately, Derek Lewis's back has been a huge issue. Even though he usually thinks he's healthy enough to fight, his back bothers him in his fights. He'll be like, yo, this shot that I'm getting in my back lasts a week. I'm gonna get it 3 days before my fight, so I'll be good. And then after the fight, he's like, yo, my fucking back locked up on me. And it's like, damn, I thought the shot was gonna help. And so it's hard to count Lewis out, you know what I'm saying? But you don't know where his back's at. But it's hard to count him out because, for one, he could come into this fight with the healthy back and look better than he's looked in recent fights. But also, when he's down, he's never out. And as much as I like Derek Lewis personally, he's a fun guy, really funny guy. If you listen to his interviews, if you look at his social media, he's always posting funny shit, funny memes. I like the guy. But I've got to pick Alexander Volkov to win this fight, man. He just finished Fabricio Verdun, who was looking great before that fight. Even at his age of 40 years old, Fabricio Verdun had just finished Walt Harris in the first round. I mean, beat Marcin Tybura over 5 rounds and won pretty much every round in that fight. He looked great. And then he lost to Alexander Volkov, and Alexander Volkov not only beat him, he finished him in the 4th round. So I can't really put faith in Derek Lewis and his back to be healthy for this entire fight. And so I can't really put a lot of stock into him to get the win. I think Volkov's likely the better fighter, and he's also the younger, more experienced fighter, and he's beat some really good heavyweights. Now, I've counted Derek Lewis out in the past, and he won the fight. He just beat Francis Ngannou. And a lot of people didn't expect that. It wasn't the most entertaining fight. It was actually the opposite of entertaining. But either way, I counted out Derek Lewis, and he won. I'm counting him out again here. But, I mean, it's the back thing. It's the fact that Volkov's a monster. I know, man. Lewis could win, and if he wins, I'll feel like an asshole. But I'm picking Alexander Volkov to win this fight. I think he's probably got the better cardio, the better striking, and yeah, he could get knocked out, but I think that's really the only way Derek Lewis wins this fight, is if he knocks out Volkov. So with that being said, I got Volkov. Let's move to the light heavyweight fight between Ovince St. Preux and Dominic Reyes. The number 7th ranked light heavyweight in the world, Ovince St. Preux, versus the number 12th ranked light heavyweight in the world, Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes is undefeated. He's devastating. His nickname is the Devastator. He's finished 8 of his 9 wins, including all 3 of his UFC wins in the first round. OSP is a very well-rounded fighter with more UFC experience in this fight, and I think he would be a favorite to win this fight if people didn't question his chin after he got knocked out pretty violently by Jimmy Manawa. But I mean, I don't think people realize that that was only OSP's 2nd time losing by KO TKO in his whole career. He's fought 33 fights. He's only been knocked out twice. One of them came earlier than that. So I don't think his chin is shot. Yeah, he got choked out by Ilir Latifi, but that had nothing to do with his chin. That was a submission. And it's not like OSP sucks at jiu-jitsu. It's not like he got choked out because he sucks. He got caught. OSP has submitted plenty of guys. You know he's got solid grappling jiu-jitsu. He's also knocked out guys. He's also out-wrestled guys. I don't know why people keep counting out OSP. Of course anybody can win. But he was underdog coming into his last fight with Tyson Pedro, and he's an underdog again coming in here against Dominic Reyes. I honestly don't understand the odds. I think it should be a lot closer. Dominic Reyes is devastating. He can submit OSP. He can knock out OSP. And who knows? He might even be able to win a fucking decision with OSP. But OSP can do all of those things right back. So if anything, this fight's a toss-up. OSP is also the more experienced fighter. You could argue more well-rounded. He can knock out Dominic Reyes. He can submit Dominic Reyes. He can out-wrestle Dominic Reyes. He's also been fighting higher-level opponents throughout his career. He's got fights with John Jones, Jimmy Manawa, Corey Anderson, a win over Corey Anderson. He's fucking got so much experience and UFC experience. I think OSP wins this fight unless he makes a mistake or unless he gets caught. That's possible, but I think OSP wins this fight, man. I'm going with OSP. Now we've got the co-main event of the evening. I'm picking Tony Ferguson, but I think a lot of people are asleep on Anthony Pettis' chances to win this fight. I'm picking Tony Ferguson, but I'm not near as confident as a lot of you might be. Tony Ferguson's the #2 ranked lightweight in the world. He could be one of the best lightweights in the world. Hell, he could be the best lightweight in the world, honestly. If you want to get fucking technical and break shit down and go real fucking deep, Tony Ferguson could be the best lightweight in the world. Now, what are his chances against Conor McGregor? We don't know because we haven't seen the fight, and I don't know if we ever will. But yeah, Conor McGregor knocks guys out, but does that mean he's going to guaranteed knock Tony Ferguson out? No. When you're talking about the better grappling and cardio, you give the edge to Ferguson, right? Now, that doesn't mean he wins the fight. I'm just saying he's got a chance against McGregor. When you talk about Khabib, Ferguson's got a chance against Khabib. Who else has attacked Khabib if they get taken down? Who's got the jiu-jitsu that Ferguson has that Khabib's fought? Who's got the elbows from the bottom that Ferguson has that Khabib's fought? I'm just saying Tony Ferguson could be the best damn lightweight in the world. He beat Kevin Lee. He's on a 10-fight win streak. He beat Kevin Lee en route to winning that interim lightweight title that he got stripped of. But Kevin Lee was ranked #6 at the time when he won that title. Tony Ferguson beat the #6 ranked guy, and a lot of people said he's not the real champion. He beat the #6 guy. Well, I mean, I don't want to break it to you guys because Khabib is a monster. But Khabib beat like the ranked #9 or 10 guy when he fought Quintin. So for anybody that said Tony Ferguson's not a real champion, I'm just saying. Tony Ferguson could still be the best lightweight fighter on the planet. We'll never know because we've got a main event going down in this fight we all want to see. McGregor versus Khabib. But the winner of that fight versus Ferguson would still be interesting. Now, would they take the fight? Maybe Khabib. I don't see Conor McGregor fighting Ferguson. There's not enough on the line. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like GSP not fighting Woodley. It's not that he's scared of Ferguson. Yeah, Conor McGregor could beat Ferguson, but Tony Ferguson isn't bringing millions of dollars in pay-per-view buys. He's not bringing millions of pay-per-view buys in. He's not bringing in millions of fans you can take. You know, it's just a different thing. It's not a legacy fight. Beating Tony Ferguson doesn't mean as much as beating a guy in another division for another belt. It's not as big as fighting fucking Mayweather or Paulie or somebody for $100 million in boxing. So I don't think McGregor will ever fight Ferguson, but that's another topic for another day. I'm just letting you know Tony Ferguson ain't nothing to fuck with. I get that. But that doesn't mean that he's going to steamroll Pettis, and that does not mean Anthony Pettis can't win this fight, because Anthony Pettis just fucking put Michael Chiesa in a triangle armbar. Submitted him. He just submitted a really good grappler. Anybody can get caught. Black belts get caught every day, yo. I'm just saying. Let's break this fight down. That was my whole diatribe, and I didn't even look at my notes. Either way, Tony Ferguson's riding a 10-fight win streak over the last 5 years. He's won the interim title in his last fight with Kevin Lee, the ranked #6 lightweight. It was a great fight. Kevin Lee actually had him in a bad spot before he ultimately found the submission. He's going to be taking on Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis is not 10-0 in his last 10 fights. He's actually 5-5 in his last 10 fights. But he is coming off of a very impressive second-round submission over Michael Chiesa. The odds are stacked against Pettis here because not only has Tony Ferguson been beating higher-level guys, but he's also riding that 10-fight winning streak. He's beat Edson Barboza and Rafael Dos Anjos, two of the guys who were able to beat Pettis. So he's beat two of the dudes that beat Pettis. I mean, you know, he's the higher ranked fighter, but like I said, this is actually a tougher fight to call for me than most people. While I agree Ferguson should win this fight, anything can happen here because we don't know how he's going to look coming off that leg injury for one, and also Pettis has shown he can submit high-level grapplers. Pettis is also a former champion, and while he's not the hardest hitting lightweight in the world, we've seen Tony Ferguson rocked in the past, and we also know he was in trouble against Kevin Lee before ultimately finding that submission. So yeah, I'm taking Tony Ferguson to win this fight, but I think Pettis could find a submission and potentially upset the world in this fight. I just don't think you should count out Anthony Pettis. And also, what if he just throws some leg kicks? Who knows the condition Ferguson's leg is in? He's a hell of a trainer. He trains extremely hard, and I'm sure he took that fucking attitude and discipline and all that shit to his physical therapy. And I think Tony Ferguson's leg is probably good. I don't think we got to worry about it, but I'm just saying it's a thought. Is he 100%? So we'll see I'm taking Ferguson to win the fight. Now it's time, man. The champion, the undisputed, undefeated Khabib Nurmagomedov taking on Conor McGregor. Yo, you guys see this fight that we got ahead of us, you guys? It is the main event, and I don't know why my notes are not here. We can't be assured that he's 100%. So with that being said, it's time. The moment we've all been waiting for. Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, the ultimate breakdown. Are you guys ready for my prediction? Holy fuck. Like I said earlier, I just sat here and stared at this screen for a good 25-30 minutes before I could rack my brain around the winner of this fight. I'm going to break this fight all the way down for you guys, and exactly why I think I'm going to be picking Khabib to win. Now, like I said, even with that, I'm not 100% sure going into this, but just hear me out. Let's break this shit down, and maybe we can come together and find a winner of this fight. Khabib Nurmagomedov is 26-0 as a professional. He's never lost. This is almost unheard of in MMA. This doesn't happen in MMA because there's so many styles. You can't just pad a record like a Floyd Mayweather or somebody of the boxing world. You know what I'm saying? You can't really do that. Definitely not in the UFC. You have to be a very talented fighter to be 26-0. Now, we know Khabib is a very talented fighter. He's the champion of arguably the most stacked division in the UFC. And oh, by the way, if you're talking about just versus Conor McGregor, Khabib's got one of the best teams in the world that produces multiple champions. He trains with AKA, with the likes of Daniel Cormier, with the likes of Cain Velasquez, Luke Rockhold, and others, all former champions. Javier Mendez over there. So he's got the better team. He's got the better style matchup for this fight. I'm going to give you all the reasons why my mind is telling me that Khabib should win this fight. My mind's telling me no, but my body's saying McGregor. Pause. You guys get the point. I'm giving you all the reasons why my brain is telling me Khabib should win this fight. He's got the better team. He trains with AKA compared to Conor McGregor training with SBG Ireland, and clearly they have some skills over there to be able to turn Conor McGregor into who he is. But at the same time, could it be kind of like Edmund Tarverdyan? Yeah, Ronda Rousey was a beast, but who else you really got over there? Yeah, Conor McGregor's a beast, but who else you really got over there? What other champions you got? What other contenders you got coming out of there? That's not the case with Khabib's camp. We know Khabib's got one of the best camps in the world, some of the best wrestlers in the goddamn UFC. And oh, by the way, he's throwing around those big dudes. He's the smallest one over there. He's fucking throwing around Rockhold and Cormier in wrestling practice. He's definitely going to have the better wrestling in this fight. And the wrestling base, a lot of the times, is mainly going to get you through a lot of fights. Even a fight with Conor McGregor, that wrestling base is super sweet to have. You know why? Because for one, when McGregor's had trouble in the past, it's been against guys like Chad Mendes who were able to take him down. Now, he was able to get back up and still win that fight. But this is a weight division up. This is also lightweight. This is also a bigger wrestler than Chad Mendes. And oh, by the way, he's fucking undefeated. And oh, by the way, he's on a full camp. And oh, by the way, this dude's never been knocked out. He's been touched, and that's where Conor McGregor's change comes in. But with that being said, man, that's really what we give McGregor, a puncher's chance, and I'm going to give him more than that. I think Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu and wrestling are both. I think his grappling is underrated. Conor McGregor's a brown belt. A lot of people don't know that. Whenever he fought Chad Mendes, I believe he was a purple belt. Since then, he's earned his brown belt. And no one is talking about the fact that Conor McGregor has jiu-jitsu skills at all. No one's talking about the fact that Conor McGregor can pull off a submission. Just because it's not his strong suit, no one think, okay, that's why we're still breaking this fight down. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But either way, let's stick to Khabib and all the reasons my mind's telling me no. And all the reasons that I'm picking Khabib right now to win this fight. He's got the wrestling advantage. He's got the cardio advantage, right? I mean, if we're going off of what we know, Conor McGregor's not going to beat Khabib over 25 minutes. He's not going to be able to keep the fight standing for 25 minutes. It's not going to happen. Now, Khabib can make a mistake and lose this fight. It's part of the reason it's so close. But he should win. And that's why my brain is picking Khabib. Now, I've counted Conor out. Now, why? What are the reasons Conor should win this fight? Really, it's you give him a puncher's chance, right? And that's not enough. But I think if you're looking at it as Conor only has a puncher chance, you're really not looking at this fight deep enough. I think you're underrating Conor McGregor and what he's done. I mean, if you look at Conor McGregor's legacy and even how some of those wins have turned out over time, people used to give him shit because they said, oh, he wasn't fighting the highest level wrestlers early in his career, and so one of these days he's going to fight a wrestler and he's going to expose him. But you know who he was fighting early in his career? Guys like Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier, who at the time, no, people didn't know who they were. So you might have knew who they were if you were a hardcore fan, but at the time they weren't who they've grown to be. The best fighters on the fucking planet. Max Holloway now 11-fight win streak, featherweight champion, beat Jose Aldo twice, looking at like one of the future greatest featherweights of all time. Max Holloway is a fucking monster. McGregor's got to win over him. Dustin Poirier looks like he could be a lightweight champion if this division wasn't so log jammed right now, but he's beating everybody getting thrown in front of him. Dustin Poirier had to fucking fight Justin Gaethje and Eddie Alvarez en route to where he's at right now, and now he's got to fight with Nate Diaz coming up. Dustin Poirier is a motherfucking monster. McGregor's got to win over him. And when it was time to face Chad Mendes, people say, oh, it was on short notice. Chad Mendes didn't get a full camp. Well, oh, guess what, guys? Conor McGregor was not training to fight a wrestler. He was training to fight fucking Jose Aldo. Who, you think Conor McGregor was training takedown defense for Jose Aldo? You think he was working on his wrestling in that camp? No, whenever he found out his opponent was changed to Chad Mendes, he had a short camp as well. Might he have been in a little more fight shape? Sure, but that didn't have anything to do with Chad Mendes having those natural wrestling skills and still having the wrestling advantage going into that fight, and we saw it come out. He took Conor McGregor down and had him in a bad spot, but McGregor was able to weather the storm, get up, and knock Chad Mendes out. And people said, holy shit, he did it. But he's not going to beat Aldo. They countered him out again. He fucking fought Aldo, knocked him out in 13 fucking seconds. He knocked out Jose Aldo, and that's when shit started to get crazy. Because people said, holy fuck, I've counted him out twice. But now he's talking about being the champ. There's no way he's fucking beating the lightweight champion. What are we talking about? He's gonna go up there and he's gonna get fucking out wrestled. Are you kidding me? He's already a featherweight and people don't trust his wrestling. He's gonna go up there and get out wrestled. He's gonna fight Eddie Alvarez and he's gonna lose. What did he do? He fucking melted Eddie Alvarez. And then he went on to fucking fight Nate Diaz. We know the history by now, but I'm just saying, Conor McGregor has fought multiple times. We've counted him out multiple times. Doesn't matter how hardcore of a fan you are, how much you know about this sport, you counted McGregor out in the past and he proved you wrong. And here you are in that exact same position. I just told you why Khabib should win this fight. Every fucking reason. Better cardio, better wrestling, better team, better coaches, probably. I'm just going off of if you're looking at the results of their team. Better teammates, training partners. I mean, what does that leave Conor McGregor with? The fucking luck of the Irish? Well, I'll be goddamn, because it seems like that's all he needs, because he's proved us wrong time after time. And so with that being said, that's why Khabib should win this fight. But you guys, like I said, we've counted him out in the past, and I changed my mind, guys. I'm not going to do it again. I'm picking motherfucking the Mystic Mac, the champ. Are you kidding me? And like I said, this is the breakdown. I don't think he's only got a puncher's chance. This is why I'm picking McGregor. I know I tricked you. You thought I was going Khabib, and it's that close for me, man. It's a toss-up. If I was betting money, though, I'm not going to lie, I would put a little bit of money on McGregor right now because he's the underdog, and this is a toss-up. I think this should be a dead-even fight. Whoever you put your money on, good fucking luck, because there's no telling who wins this fight. Yes, all those reasons Khabib could win this fight, but there's also reasons McGregor could win this fight. And for one, it's because we know Khabib has holes in his stand-up game. We know that Conor McGregor can capitalize on those. He'll be the better stand-up fighter. And also, Conor McGregor has better takedown defense than you might imagine. And also, Khabib Nurmagomedov's takedown attempts have seemed somewhat sloppy in the past when he dives for like a single leg or something, and when he doesn't get it and a fighter's able to pull their leg out of there, well then his head is in danger for one of those fucking Mystic Mac left missiles to fucking clip him with an uppercut and hurt him. And oh, by the way, Conor McGregor's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Don't think that if Khabib Nurmagomedov's trying to talk to him and smash and put his arm in risky positions, Conor McGregor's not going to have better jiu-jitsu than Edson Barboza and these other guys that McGregor's been fighting, because he very well could. A lot of those guys were trying to get back up and prevent damage. Not a lot of the guys Khabib has been fighting off of their back. They haven't been attacking Khabib Nurmagomedov from the back. They weren't attacking submissions. They weren't attacking with elbows. They were trying to stand back up, and that is not a good plan because it leads to you getting pummeled and mauled some more. So McGregor being a brown belt, that gives him not only a puncher's chance, but a submission's chance. And he's got the fucking, I don't want to call it the luck of the Irish, but he's also got the fucking gene of prove me, you count me out, and I'll prove you wrong again. I mean, you know the saying, how many times you have to do something over and over. You do something over and over and expect a different result. That's insanity. I mean, you count Conor McGregor out over and over and over again. You're gonna do it again. I know me personally, I've probably picked against him 3 separate fucking times now, and each time he comes out and gets the win. I used to be like a lot of you probably still are. Oh, Conor McGregor's all hype. I was fucking, you know, I was even Team Diaz, and when Diaz won, I was celebrating like, oh shit, he won. I fucking told you guys. I didn't think he was gonna beat Alvarez. I didn't think he was gonna beat Diaz in the rematch, but he did both of those. I didn't think he was gonna last 10 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. And oh, by the way, that Floyd Mayweather fight, yeah, it doesn't help with his wrestling, but you know what it does help? His cardio. And so with that being said, who knows? Coming into this fight, nobody thinks McGregor can beat Khabib over 25 minutes. McGregor's cardio, I bet you, has been improving and improving and improving and improving and improving. Not only does he have the McGregor Fast Cardio program fucking designated to cardio, but also if that boxing fight takes a little bit more cardio, you might imagine. You're in that boxing ring for a longer time than you're in an MMA fight. In a champion MMA fight, you're in there for 25 minutes max. In a boxing fight, and McGregor, he knocks dudes out. He's in and out of there. He's not fighting 3 rounds and 5 rounds all the time. He's putting shit to sleep, and he's out of there. In a boxing match, you're in there for what? 12 3-minute rounds, 30, 36 minutes. So there's more cardio there. So McGregor's working on his cardio doing that. Working on his fucking cardio in his McGregor Fast program. And now you also have to keep in mind, is he working on his cardio when he's drinking fucking proper 12? Is he working on his cardio when he's partying? Like, you know, you don't really know exactly where his mental state is. Is he living life, or is he working hard in his off time? He's got more money than ever. We don't know how motivated Conor is, but if he is motivated, which I believe he is, because he doesn't need money, why else would he be back if he's not motivated to come back and get his belt back? He doesn't need to come back. He's coming back because he loves it. I love it, like he said at the press conference. So I'm picking Conor McGregor, guys. This is my breakdown of UFC 229. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe if you're new, and also hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And also, who do you have winning these UFC 229 main card fights? Let me know your predictions. I'm out.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking DOG.